So this father decides he's going to take his family to the zoo. All right, so he gets his kids, he takes them to the zoo. It's a beautiful day outside. And the kids are just having a blast. They're feeding the different animals and just really enjoying themselves. And the family starts to make their way over to the zoo's most prized animal, the elephants. And they head over to the area where they keep the elephants. And as they get to the elephant area, they see that these elephants are walking around this area, and the only thing that's holding them back is this rope that's tied to a stick held by the zookeepers. There's no fence, there's no wall, there's no barricade, there's nothing holding these elephants back other than this single rope. And the father sees this, and his face goes white with fear. And he grabs his kids and he starts running into the opposite direction, running for his life. He's so scared. And as he's running the other way, he sees a zookeeper on his way out, and he looks at the zookeeper and he says, "Are you guys insane? You've got these 2-ton beasts walking around, and the only thing that's holding them back is a little rope. They could snap that rope and kill everybody here in the zoo." And the zookeeper looks at him and he says, "Sir, calm down. You're correct. Yes, these elephants could snap the rope at any second and break free and hurt everyone here in the zoo. But what you don't understand is that when these elephants are born, when these baby elephants are born, we tie a rope around their ankle and we fasten the rope to a really strong tree. And the elephants try and try and try to break free from this tree. Good morning, guys. The elephants try to break free from this tree, but eventually it's their will that breaks. And so as these elephants get older and as they get stronger, they grow up with this belief that the rope holds power over them. Even though they could snap the rope at any second, they believe that they're incapable. So my question for you this morning is, what are the ropes that are holding you back in your own life? What are the self-beliefs that you have that are keeping you stuck and keeping you from stepping into your greatest potential? What are the ropes that may have been true at one point but are no longer relevant? You see, I think for all of us that we hold these self-beliefs about ourselves and about others that sometimes are not true. You know, for a long time, people believed that the color of your skin determined whether or not you were worthy of having a job and making money. For a long time, people thought that your gender determined whether or not you were capable of being a CEO or running for president. You know, until Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile mark, nobody believed that it was possible. And when Roger Bannister went out and ran a sub 4-minute mile, hundreds of people around the world started to break that mark as well. It wasn't a new training technique or this new breed of faster people. It's just the ropes of unbelief had been cut. And so again, I ask you, what are the ropes in your life that are holding you back? How many of you in here have a dog at home as a pet? Okay, most of you. Does anybody in here have one of those invisible fence collars for their dog? Okay, a couple of you. Yeah, so I don't have a dog, but one of my friends has a dog, and the dog was really struggling with running away, and the family was just out of ideas to try and keep this dog inside of the yard and keep it from running away. And so they went out and they got one of the invisible fence collars for the dog. And it was funny. I spent a lot of time at this house, and as I saw this dog get used to this collar, it got used to the collar very quickly, right? is with these, I don't know if you know anything about these invisible fence collars, but when they step over the boundary, they get a little jolt, right? And so it doesn't take very long for these animals to understand where they can and cannot go. And eventually it got to the point where the dog no longer even needed to wear the collar. It would just stay inside of its boundary because it didn't want to get the jolt. And it's funny, we did a little experiment. We stood on the other side of the boundary with a treat. And the dog didn't have the collar on, and so the fence was turned off, and we stood on the other side of the boundary with a treat, and still the dog would not step over the boundary. Because it believed that there was this limitation on where it could go. And so again, I ask you, what are the ropes that are holding you back? What are the boundaries in your life that really aren't there, but you believe that they're there, and they're keeping you from stepping into your dreams? You know, the funny thing about dreams is I find the people who have given up on their dreams are usually the ones who have the most to say about you stepping into yours. And so if somebody tells you that something's impossible, if somebody tells you that you can't do that, I want you to say, who says? Who says? And I need you to cut the ropes from your life. I need you to take the collar off and step into your greatest potential. And so in order to do that, the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out what are those ropes that are holding you back. What are the beliefs that you have about yourself that aren't true, that are keeping you stuck where you are? And so I'm going to give you this worksheet, and what I want you to do with this worksheet is I want you to go through it, and if it applies to you, then I want you to check the box. If it's something that you struggle with or something that you experience in your life, I want you to check the box. And then once you've gone through the whole sheet, I want you to go back through it a second time, and I want you to circle the 3 that you struggle with the most. Okay? You don't need to put your name on it, but I want you to turn it in to me before you leave. Okay? So check the boxes that apply, circle the 3 that you struggle with the most. All right?